Hello everyone, welcome along to the 2021 Spanish Grand Prix qualifying then, and we are almost all set and ready to go here in Spain this afternoon, and we are almost set and ready to find out who will be taking pole position around the circuit de Barcelona de Catalonia this afternoon. A double header, the first one of the season. Who's going to take it? Who is going to take it? Will it be Hamilton for pole number 100, or will Verstappen and Bottas ruin the party? Let us know in the comments, predict who you think will be getting pole position. Just down there, as you can see on our banner about here, it says the qualifying will get underway at about 2 o'clock. Yes, that's right. We're getting the 2 o'clock start for the first time this year. We'll be getting underway at around 2 p.m. Local time here in the UK. It's 3 o'clock Barcelona time, or local time in Barcelona. Anyway, very, very shortly I'll be joined by Charlie Tolhurst. But first of all, remember, if you want to get involved, tweet us. Hashtag SpanishGP. That's what you need to include, and we'll pick it up. I think we've got a few coming in already. We're going to read them out. Here we go. I'm just getting the hashtags up. Let's see what people are saying about Spanish Grand Prix. Okay. It's lovely, lovely weather in at Barcelona. Bright blue skies. Adele was saying, no, I don't like watching anything in slow motion. I'll watch the at Mercedes AMG F1 view in real time. Yes, I much prefer watching things in real time compared to slow motion. Why is that guy speaking all the time? Who is it? Oh, they're saying, why is Karoon speaking all the time? Because it's a small clip from the broadcast, someone said. Of course it's a small clip from the broadcast. Someone saying that's your 2022 Drivers' Champion there, Charles Leclerc. A bit braver. The RB16B's medium rubber on both cars, say Red Bull. And are you ready for round 4? The charge is on. It's quali day. Yes, it sure is. Someone said cool wallpaper. Would it be possible to convert it into a HD wallpaper though? Yeah, it's a bit naff from Red Bull, I have to admit. Someone said how long till it starts, but to go to bed, but I want to wake up on time. Yeah, it's in about 22 minutes. There's not much point you actually going to bed, really. Who made this graphic? It's amazing. I'm pretty sure it says on here somewhere. I'm not quite sure who made that graphic. Let's see. McLaren saying the final practice session the weekend wraps up with Lando sitting P7 and Daniel P8. Talking about that, we'll run you through what's been happening in the morning sessions as best as we can. And also we had some F3 on this morning. We're just going to look at a Murray Walker and the Spanish Grand Prix. Yes, who remembers that moment where Michael Schumacher won in the wet? Can Hamilton make history and take his 100th pole position? We're just going to read you through the practice 3 results. So Verstappen topped the session with a 1:17.8. Hamilton second, Leclerc third, Sainz fourth, Bottas fifth, Norris sixth, Gasly seventh, Ricciardo 8th, Raikkonen 9th, Perez 10th, Alonso 11th, Tsunoda 12th, Ocon 13th, Stroll 14th, Russell 15th, Giovinazzi 16th, Vettel 17th, Latifi 18th, and Schumacher and Mazepin 19th. We're going to hand you over to Mick Schumacher now, who's live in Spain.
We know that the Portimao was kind of a special circumstance where we had obviously low grip, what we kind of expected, but also windy conditions. So I think all of that kind of played into our hands a bit. But nonetheless, we showed that we had the pace. We had the pace definitely to be faster than William.
You must be gaining in confidence every race weekend. You must be being more at home in this paddock and more sort of part of the grid, I guess, because it's quite hard for you guys to come in.
Yeah, I mean, I feel very, very, very good. I've been welcomed very, very warmly. I feel like I'm settled and I love my job. I love what I'm doing. So all's good at the moment.
Do you have anyone here you can talk to in the paddock in terms of any of the other drivers?
Most of the time, Seth has his motor on with him, and I do too.
Just
so,
looking at
nice
somebody,
to have somebody to go back to and ask and get tips from, but also kind of have a chat to, because I mean, obviously, motorsport is kind of a lonely sport as well, because you're obviously racing all the time, but nonetheless, to have somebody you can talk to is very nice.
What's been the biggest surprise for you about coming into F1?
How relaxing it is, kind of. It may sound strange, but
it does. That's pretty strange.
I really enjoy it. I mean, all the media and stuff is not a problem for me, so I love working. I love, being up there with the engineers and trying to improve our car and myself as a whole. So yeah, I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Okay. With what? Which system? The car or the balance or?
Do you make changes because of the feel of something, or are you somebody who goes away and studies and thinks, oh, if I try that might work? Which side do you think you fall?
Probably both. For me, I have like this kind of triangle which I like to follow, and it's like if it feels good, is it passing or is data showing the right things? If all those matches, then you know that the change you made was positive. Also, a thing that you have to feel. You have to know, okay, what do I want to improve? What do I want the car to do for me to drive fast? And obviously, that's something also you learn through feeling, but also through studies. So I would definitely say I'm kind of both.
Michael Schumacher wins the Spanish Grand Prix after an absolutely superlative drive.
25 years ago, since your dad's first win in a Ferrari, you got in one in Fiorano a couple of weeks ago. I know you've driven the F2002 as well, but I remember Carlos Sainz saying it feels like a different category when you get in a Ferrari car. Can you tell us what that's like when you did those laps at Fiorano?
Being able to do my laps there is quite special, and obviously working with all the Scuderia Ferrari people and engineers is very nice. And I think those half days and days are very, very helpful for me.
As we come into this weekend, does the team set you targets at the moment?
It's all on us, and we've set our own targets, if you may say. So I haven't got a clear, okay, we have to finish there, otherwise we're not happy. But it's more of a, personal side that we say on our car crew, okay, that's what we want to achieve. That's all the points that we want to take off the list, basically. And I think if we manage to do all of that, then we're happy after the race.
Great stuff. We'll go well this weekend. Thanks for chatting to us.
So there you go, Mick Schumacher giving a great interview to Rachel Brooks there. A lovely interview, fascinating interview, because it is the anniversary of the day his father, the late great Michael Schumacher, took victory at Barcelona. Obviously, it's another on this day as well, because it was on this day in 1982 that we lost the F1 legend of Gilles Villeneuve. He was one of the fastest, a genius, a legend, and one of the fastest racing drivers that Formula One has ever seen. He's gone, but he will never ever be forgotten. And today at Spain, we remember him as such a fantastic driver as well. He's gone, as I said, never ever forgotten, and we race with him in our hearts every race, but more than ever this race and this qualifying session. Gilles is not here with us physically, but he's here with us mentally, and he's here with us, as I said, in our hearts, in our brains. and we're thinking of Jill's family today because it must be a horrible, horrible day for them. But yeah, the blue skies are shining. It looks lovely, lovely weather at Barcelona right now. I'm just going to check what the weather is actually doing in Barca. Now, let's have a look. We're just outside the centre of Barcelona today, the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. It's a little bit away. We're going to hand you over to Karun now as he's doing the track guide.
The Circuit de Catalunya, a demanding track where there's no edge of height for the teams.
Oh, it's a maneuver. Hayden Kovalainen. Oh, what sort of runners there? Oh, a Michael Schumacher. Oh, and into the gravel, head in his hand. Oh, I guess that's his question.
The first sequence of corners present the best overtaking opportunity if you get it right.
And this then should be a treat to watch. Look, he's going and moving wherever he can. And luckily nobody's alongside him. Some reflex reactions and then total belief that he's not going to get run off there. That was brave too, wasn't it?
Sebastian Vettel on the inside does manage to get past Valtteri Bottas.
But we've also seen moves go wrong.
Someone's gone over that. Looks like Roman Grosjean very much out of this race. What has happened to the Haas driver? He's collided with Nico Hulkenberg.
Turn forward the corner that needs huge confidence on the way in and good traction on the way out. This gravel track rarely gets used, but it did witness a rivalry boil over.
Hamilton's up to the cross. Hamilton's on a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammates. The two Mercedes come together.
In the heart of the middle sector, you've got the tricky turns 7 and 8. They always annoyed and frustrated me because you've got understeer on the way in and oversteer on the way out, and the road starts to climb. Up to turn 9, and it's time to thread the eye of the needle for one of the fastest corners in Formula 1. But not everyone gets it right. At the start of the final sector, turn 10 has been reprofiled this year. It's a wider radius than we had before, which means a shorter braking zone, and overtaking is now going to be even harder than it was before. By the time you come through turns 12 and 13, your tires are crying enough, but you've got to massage them, cajole them into giving you the grip for the chicane and then getting the traction you need to get up to the line. I bumped into some of the drivers on my track walk to see what they thought of the circuit.
It's often a very demanding track physically, but races. It's very hot here. Temperatures really get up there, so there's not really much of a break while you're driving. So it can be, pretty tough physically.
The end of it is very easy to overdo the entries. Very easy to kind of lose the rear when you turn in, have some rear locking, struggle with the traction out of this final corner. So a lot of it's about like you want to push that little bit more sometimes, but it's about kind of staying calmer than you think, taking it easy, just letting the rears, find the limit. It's tricky, but it's part of the game, so it's good, exciting.
Nice work, Lewis. That's it. So that's P1, mate. Well done. Really nice job there.
Lewis Hamilton's taken 4 pole positions in the last 5 years. It'll be hard to beat him once again today.
So interesting what a lot of the drivers were saying there, saying the tyres are really hard to hang on to in that final sector, and they are crying out, and they really just want that lap to be over at the end of it. It's hotter actually in Barcelona than it was in FP3. It's a lot warmer, a lot warmer. It's supposed to be slightly cooler tomorrow. It has literally everything, this circuit. You've got the low speed, some of the low speed corners like the turn 11s, and then you've got the high speed corners like turn 3 and turn 9. So it really does have everything for a Formula 1 racetrack, but it's super hard. Really difficult to overtake here. So qualifying is key. If you get on pole, you stand a pretty good chance of winning the race unless you're overtaken on strategy, like we saw in 2017 with Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. So yeah, it's actually going to be I'm super excited for this qualifying. We're going to hand you over to Anthony Davidson.
Turning out to be a bit of a car wrecker, as Sebastian Vettel found out, and Max Verstappen as well. If you get it wrong here, remember you're carrying that deficit of damage to your car all the way through the rest of qualifying potentially. Turn 10 is another corner. It's been reprofiled for this year, and it's another corner that can definitely catch you out, as it did with Max Verstappen earlier on in the weekend. It's a corner which pays dividends if you get it right, but one that you can definitely lose your whole lap if you get it wrong. Turn 15 as well, as Lewis Hamilton proved. If you go too wide over this one, he momentarily beaches the car, and you lose performance there as well. And if you get all of that right and unscathed, you've still got the traffic issue. Because of the high temperatures today, you're going to have cars creeping round to open their lap. That creates traffic jams, and that creates problems for the drivers that are on their hot lap, as Sergio Perez found out yesterday. Back to you, Karun.
Yes, it's going to be a pretty exciting qualifying, should I say. It's been tight so far in the FP3 sessions and the FP2. We've got about 9 minutes to go. We're bringing you all of the build-up, all of the latest news as we get it. Remember, if you want to join the conversation, it's hashtag Spanish GP. That's what you need to remember. Spanish GP. I'm just going to have a look to see if we have any more tweets in. Someone saying that Red Bull car is quicker than a lightning strike. Max must make good use of it. Hashtag Red Bull quickest car. And have Mercedes, our Mercedes, going to spoil that party. Actually, someone replied to it saying Mercedes have a quicker car. Max is just outperforming his car to the maximum. And that's why he sometimes makes small mistakes here and there. And someone said Norris overrated. Norris overrated. Who on earth would write that? You have to have a lot of balls of steel to write that. Someone said, where are all the people saying Red Bull don't have the fastest car? Someone replied to it saying Hamilton haters just can't admit that Max is underperforming on race days. Exactly the mistake in quali cost him the win last weekend. I rate Max highly, but he is definitely overrated at the moment by Red Bull. And someone replied to that, the Mercedes is faster and overall a better race car, easier on tyres and a lot less wind sensitive. Yes, we're just looking at, they're fixing the Tech Pro barriers. Not quite sure where that is. There was a Formula European race this morning, and they're trying to get an update on. But yeah, we are gonna try and get an update on whether qualifying will start on time. I haven't heard anything to say it isn't. I'm trying to get BBC Sport and Sky Sports up as to what is happening. Because I'm sure they might have to delay the start of qualifying because they are still repairing the barriers from the Formula European race. I haven't heard anything they're going to have to delay it yet, so we will keep you updated on what start times we will get. We're still scheduled for 2 o'clock. I'm trying to get as many updates in as I can from F1 and the FIA. As soon as I get one, I will let you know as to exactly what is happening. All I know at the moment is qualifying scheduled to start at 2 o'clock, and it apparently still is going to be starting at 2 o'clock. If anything changes, I will let you know as soon as I get it. But I haven't received any further information on this yet. Yeah, I've only just found out that they are still repairing the barriers from the former European race, but it's now time for the Spanish Grand Prix qualifying. Hello everyone, welcome along to the Circuit Barcelona, Catalonia. We're on the shores of Barcelona this weekend for the Formula One Aramco Gran Premio de España. However, Charlie, there is some barrier damage following a support race. We might be getting a delayed start to qualifying this afternoon. But they're focused on 100% of the electricity supply used at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia has been generated from renewable origins since 2017. Construction of the circuit began in September 1989. The track first held an F1 race soon after, as it was completed in 1991. Right, let's have a look at the track itself then. It's 4.675 kilometers, 2.905 miles. We've got two DRS zones, one down the straight and one onto the new turn 10. 16 turns then, and we have an elevation of 29.6 meters. Turn 1 and 2 then, Hamilton and Vettel going wheel to wheel through that corner in 2017. Turn 4, we have Sainz and Albon. That was last year. Albon going all the way round the outside, or trying to anyway, didn't quite work out. Turn 8 and 9, we go back to 2012. Vettel against Rosberg. A lovely move up the inside of turn 9 then. That's our track for qualifying today. And the tyres, we have the C3, the C2 and the C1. So we have the hardest of all compounds today. I'm joined by Charlie Tolhurst. Charlie, with some barrier damage in the Formula European, in the Alpine Renault race, Charlie. Race control, session's been delayed by 10 minutes, Charlie. So qualifying will now start at 10 past 2 local time.
Yeah, it's totally understandable why they're doing that. Obviously, I will just go over who I think. But whilst we're here, we'll go over the ones to watch for qualifying. Look out for Ferrari, who had blistering pace on the medium tyres in practice, and also as well, can Max Verstappen make some gains after struggling in FP2 after aborting his soft tyre run after running wide at turn 10.
Right, so the reason why we've got delayed start to qualifying, Charlie, is because there was in the European Alpine Championship, which was held just before this, there was a very big accident, Charlie, at turn 9, which has caused them to have to replace the Tecpo barriers down there. And we're just seeing it now, Charlie. They seem to have put majority of the race director, Michael Massey, Charlie, still down there. The safety car is now on the scene. They seem to have got that barrier very much repaired. There's still some gravel on the circuit, Charlie.
Yeah. I don't know what happened down at that barrier. I'd have to have a check what happened, but it sounds like I'm not sure whereabouts the crash is as well.
Well, they've put new barriers down there, Charlie. So I must
admit, that down in the middle one of the first middle or third sector? I'm not quite entirely sure where.
It's down at turn 9, Charlie.
Oh, so it's down in the middle sector. That's a very fast corner, that one, by the way. So if anyone goes off there, you can get punished.
You can, Charlie. So we've got a 10-minute delay to qualifying then, which means we'll get underway in 11 minutes' time. They've got 2 layers of the tech flow, Charlie. They're replacing both of those layers. are the marshals down there. We're still waiting to hear. 10-minute delay then is what we've heard so far. Hamilton can take pole number 100 today, Charlie.
Yeah, this would be quite an astonishing achievement for Mercedes if they can manage this. I mean, I didn't put him in the predictions to be on pole today because I think Valtteri Bottas looks pretty quick. But if Hamilton gets 100 poles today, this will be a monumental achievement for the Brit. Sir Lewis Hamilton.
So the Drivers' Championship, Hamilton's on 69 points at the top, Charlie. So what we've heard, Charlie, is sessions start delayed by 10 minutes due to some barrier repairs at turn 9. It seems we've heard that there was a crash in one of the support categories which raced after FP3. FIA race director Michael Massey is down at the scene now, assessing the check road barriers and the situations with the marshals whilst there's ongoing repairs. That's the update we've got, Charlie, from F1. Do you think they have to delay qualifying again?
I think they could get away with it, but obviously it depends how bad it is.
It all depends. What's the chances of anyone going off at turn 9? We're just having a look at track limits, Charlie. So if you cut turn 2, and you go past the bump on at the apex of turn 2, if you have all 4 wheels, if you don't have a wheel, if you have a wheel beyond that bump, Charlie, that means your lap time will get deleted and you have to go to the left of the bollard.
Yeah.
And up at turn 3, no, not turn 3, so that is the only track limit actually, turn 2. So if you
turn
go
2, yes, you have to go around the bollard there.
You have to go to the left-hand side of the bollard. If you don't do that, Charlie, your lap time will be deleted.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Russian track limits down in Sochi, I believe, where if you run wide at turn 2, you have to go through the bollards and rejoin on the exit. It's very complicated.
It is, Charlie. We're gonna, whilst we wait for qualifying to start, we're gonna read out some of the comments. Don't forget to tag us #SpanishGP. We try and get through as many of them as we can. But Charlie, Smodier, we'll talk about F3 for the moment. Smodier taking his first victory in the F3 Championship this morning for their opening race of the season.
Yes, and obviously Formula 3 launched today. Not that I much know. It was Clement Novalak who, of course, is staying in the championship, I believe, as well. Smollier claiming the first victory of the Formula 3 season. I believe more races will be coming from that sport.
Yes, you're right, Charlie. Someone replied to the F1 tweet, Charlie, saying, nice little delay to the end of qualifying runs into the start of the Formula E Monaco E-Prix.
Yeah, everyone, as you would have known, guys, Monaco E-Prix is on this weekend. I was actually watching some practice earlier, and I tell you what, Maximilian Günther in the BMW looked really strong round there, actually. And so did Jake Dennis. They could be ones to watch this weekend.
So, Kirian, but it is Max Verstappen on pole position. We'll have to wait and find out.
Going for a Verstappen pole. Can he convert it? That's the question.
Seems to favour. Hopefully, no more delays. Yes, we very much hope so too. Formula 1, Charlie, 9 minutes ago, did tweet who's ready for qualifying. Well, we have to wait an extra 6 minutes until the light goes green. Looks like, Charlie, they have finished that work.
That's good.
At turn 9. So hopefully, someone's put is Mazepin's car ready to go for a spin? Yes, I'm pretty sure it is, Charlie.
No, he spun off, wasn't it, in FP1 or FP2 down at turn 8, I believe it was. He just lost the car down there. I don't know how Nikita Mazepin. Gets it
spun
wrong.
twice. He spun at turn 1 or turn 2, and then he spun at turn 8.
He's that sums up the poor guy's start to the season. Nikita Mazepin will be Mazepin by some people. He's drives like a pinball machine, does Nikita Mazepin? Very much.
What do you make of the incident last weekend at Portimao where he held up Sergio Perez? Clearly got in the way of the Red Bull driver.
I saw the replays. Absolutely crazy. I mean, Perez is leading the race and Mazepin holds him up. Like you gotta. A blue flag means let leaders pass. Lapped cars, you're officially being lapped, and you have to let the leaders pass. And Mazepin completely ignored the call from the stewards and was slapped with a penalty.
Charlie, he went past 5 blue flags. Apparently, he didn't get told by his race engineer. But I'm really sorry, Charlie. But if you go past 5 blue flags, you shouldn't need to get told that
the engineer should be alerting him and saying, "There's a blue flag ahead. Please just get out the way of the leaders." And that hampered Perez's progress. I mean, Ayrton Senna had that in the 1993 Japanese Grand Prix where he was leading and then complained of Eddie Irvine holding him up, and he got a 2-race ban after that, which I found quite crazy.
You're right, Charlie. So, Mr. Saturday, Charlie, can he do it again?
I think Russell will do better on this circuit because he was complaining last week during the race of rear instability. He complained that during the race without Towing, the Williams was so all over the place. So you could see it twitching, oversteering. I think he will do better this weekend, George Russell. I'm going to go for him to go through to Q2 today.
And he said, Charlie, didn't he, George Russell, when the Williams has the stability, it can be a joy to drive. When it doesn't have the stability, it can be a pain in the backside.
It's a nightmare for George. I mean, George could get through today. I think as well, like Max Verstappen topped the timings in FP3. He's a good chance of pole. Russell, I'd say Q2. The big driver that's going to be the one to watch today is going to be Daniel Ricciardo. I really hope he has a much better qualifying rather than what he did last weekend in Portimao.
And Fernando Alonso, Charlie, has only failed to miss out on Q3 once at the Spanish Grand Prix, and that was in 2015. Do you fancy him to make his first Q3 appearance today?
That's a difficult one, Jack. Alonso has got to show that he's quick. I mean, Alpine looked very strong in Portimao. Whether they can convert it to the Circuit de Catalunya in Spain, I don't know. It's going to be difficult. They do look really good on long run pace.
They do, Charlie. So what do you make of the circuit itself? It's good for qualifying, maybe not so good for racing. I think Charlie has frozen. Are you back, Charlie?
Sorry, our internet's went down there. Apologies.
No, it's what I was saying, Charlie. It's a great circuit for qualifying, but is it as good for racing?
This one's the one that it's a difficult one. I think this is a difficult track to overtake on. I think there should not be a chicane at turn 14. I don't understand why they've put the chicane there. It just, if you get it wrong there and you get into dirty air and it just compromises you on the run down into turn 1 massively.
Do you think they should use the corner before the chicane, Charlie, that MotoGP use?
I think they should bring that old corner back because that got removed in 2007. They should bring that last corner back. I know it's very dangerous, I know it's very fast, but it would improve the racing. It
would, Charlie. So the wind has picked up. It's quite windy, but it's a high of 25 degrees for qualifying air temperature, Charlie. How much would you love to be in Spain right now whilst it's raining and miserable and cold here in London?
I wouldn't say it's cold. I'd say it's mild today. I've been outside and it's quite mild.
It's coat weather. It's raincoat weather, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not. It's summer here. I think Spain, though, this is going to be interesting. The temperatures today could play potentially into the hands of maybe Red Bull, thinking about it. But obviously, cooler temperatures, Mercedes seem to be really strong in them.
They do, Charlie. forget your shorts and forget your jeans and your jumpers. You need your shorts and your t-shirts and a bit of suntan lotion as well. Spain.
Trousers or
Mercedes,
chinos.
Mercedes mechanics in black. They must be absolutely baking in the black, mustn't they? Lewis Hamilton has out-qualified Bottas 2-1 this season. Obviously, Bottas taking pole at last weekend's Portuguese Grand Prix.
Green lights on, we're ready.
We've got the green light at the end of the pit lane, and it's the Williams that go straight out onto the circuit, followed by both of the Hasses. We've got 18 minutes on the clock, and that is now down to about 17 minutes and 45 seconds. So that 10 minutes later than it should have been, we finally get cars on track at the circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. The traffic, Charlie, could be a bit of a problem in these high temperatures. The car's obviously going to be going as slow as they possibly can on their outlaps. Could that cause some drivers, especially Yuki Tsunoda, to get a bit angry?
Yuki Tsunoda's not exactly the best when it comes to traffic paradise. Let's be honest with you. Traffic paradise, Yuki Tsunoda on his team radio will be saying that.
Yuki Tsunoda's AlphaTauri needs a bleep machine, Charlie, when there's traffic around, doesn't it?
Certainly, yeah.
So, Mazepin radio. So, Mazepin being told, Charlie, is a headwind going into a crosswind at turn 4, which means it will be a tailwind down the straight. So braking for the first corner could be very, very difficult.
It's very fast. If you got the RS, you're doing at least 195 miles per hour into that corner.
You are, Charlie.
Maybe
as
plus.
the cars head round the new turn 10 for the first time this season in qualifying, and the first time ever in qualifying that this new turn 10 has been used. Right, as the drivers, Latifi, Russell, Schumacher and Mazepin have all crossed the line and are on a flying lap. They're the only 4 cars out on track so far, Charlie, so they shouldn't get interrupted by any traffic.
Mazepin's radio.
Right, let's see what Schumacher can do as he goes round turn 3. He's going to cross the sector now. So 22-2 in the first sector, Charlie, for Mick Schumacher. And he's going towards turn 5 now. Nice turn 5. Really gets a bit of a twitch as he heads through turn 6. But so far, looking like quite a nice lap for Schumacher as he goes up towards the high-speed turn 9. One of the fastest corners, Charlie, on the Formula 1 calendar is turn 9. And into the new turn 10. Let's see how he copes with it. Oh, he goes quite wide and indeed onto the AstroTurf at turn 10. The gravel, Charlie, isn't too far away at that new corner either.
No, you can get punished down there if you make a mistake.
Right, he's going through the chicane at turn 13 and 14, through turn 15 now. Latifi goes fastest, Schumacher second fastest, and about half a second off. Mazepin goes third fastest, but what can George Russell's aborted the lap, Charlie, and come into the pit lane, has George Russell. And as they're all flooding out now.
Russell's obviously aborted his run in the Williams.
He has, Charlie. He's been called into the weighbridge as well to add to his woes. So I wonder what's happened there for George Russell. He must have made a mistake at some point.
We'll probably get the replays in a minute.
Now we've got Latifi, Schumacher, Mazepin, Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas, Perez and Stroll all out on the circuit. It's getting a bit busy, and those traffic issues, Charlie, is now what we are starting to see, a train of cars forming as we head towards turn 9 on board Max Verstappen. Verstappen, medium tyres for both the Mercedes. That should be enough, Charlie, to get them into Q2.
Yeah, I reckon they should. Ferrari were really strong on them on Friday. or yesterday. So they should really hopefully be fine.
Interestingly, Charlie, Verstappen's let Hamilton overtake him. I wonder if he maybe would like a bit of a nice slipstream. That Mercedes.
Both Ferraris, though, are out on the softs. So they're obviously wanting to get through on the softs and gamble for the mediums for Q2.
They do. Right, here we go. Here are the first flying laps. This is the time. I think it was Perez that actually let Hamilton by, not Verstappen. No, it was Verstappen. Hamilton's in the gap between. He's in a Red Bull sandwich as we approach nearly 195 miles an hour into the braking zone at turn 1 on board with Sergio Perez. Looks lovely and neat so far for the Mexican driver. He hugs it as close as he can to turn 3, but you always have to take the wider line on the exit. He's slightly down on Nicholas Latifi's time so far, Charlie, is Sergio Perez, as he goes down the hill towards turn 5 and through turn 6 he goes now. Hamilton's also down on Latifi's time. Verstappen did go quicker for a brief moment, but he's lost that purple middle sector. And here we go. Perez gets a nice slipstream from the Ferrari ahead as he goes into turn 10. Gets a bit of a switch on the exit of it though. Into turn 11 goes Sergio Perez, and he keeps it nice and neat, and keeps out the gravel on the exit. Through turn 12 and on to turn 13 and 14 he goes. Through turn 15. Right, here's the benchmark time.
1:18.6.
Perez, you're right, Charlie. It's 1:18.6. Hamilton
has gone quickest on mediums.
Hamilton do it. Hamilton goes fastest.
Verstappen's beating him though. 1:18.0.
He is, Charlie. 1.5 tenths.
Bottas has gone quicker on the mediums. Both. That's a great time from Bottas. Actually, on mediums, pretty good.
That's a really good time, but only 85 hundredths of a second, Charlie.
It's very, very close though.
So far,
Mercedes and the Red Bull.
Also on a flying lap now, and where is he heading towards? He's on DRS. He's heading towards turn 10. Half a second down on Bottas's tyre. On Bottas's time, sorry, so far as he heads through turn 11. Stroll's gone 5th fastest, Charlie, in the Aston Martin.
Over a second off though. Wow.
We have every single car on track.
Tsunoda's gone 5th. Vettel up to 6th.
Tsunoda's gone 5th fastest. Vettel goes 6th fastest. So as I said, Charlie, every single car on track at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's very, very busy indeed out there.
Keep an eye on the times coming in. We can see that both Alfa Romeos in the top 10 at the moment.
They are. Right, Sainz
goes 3rd.
And on to the over the line, 3rd fastest. You're right, Charlie. Charles
Leclerc goes 4th. Both Ferraris though running softs, just to let you know.
They are, Charlie. They're still behind. So it's, for Mercedes, it's 1 and 4 at the moment in Bottas's favour. I wonder if
That's
Hamilton.
a really good time on the mediums for Bottas as well. That's really strong.
It was Charlie. Norris, Charlie, has gone fastest in sector 1.
Wow, Lando. What's Lando got up his sleeve?
Let's see how he goes
on the softs as well.
Turn 7 and turn 8. Pretty good, Charlie, so far this lap from Lando Norris on the soft tyres. Flat out through turn 9 as well for the McLaren. I don't think he lifted. He's slightly down though through the middle sector. The Alfa Romeo keeps nicely out of the way of Antonio Giovinazzi. The other Alfa Romeo, Kimi Raikkonen, even though he wasn't driving it, Charlie, ended FP1 in the gravel at turn 10. And they almost all come together, Charlie, at the chicane of turn 10. Lando Norris would have got compromised. They all had to go off. And Lando Norris, only 8th fastest, Charlie, would have been compromised.
Norris won't be happy with that lap after such a good opening.
It was the Haas of Nikita Mazepin, Charlie, unsurprisingly, holding everyone up through turn 10. Through the chicane, sorry.
I think that's going to probably be noted with the stewards, I reckon.
Right, Charlie, so interestingly, if you take the old track layout that we
He
used
actually
to
goes third. Wow.
to avoid another car, your next lap will be invalid. So that's why that they're all trying to stay on the track. Because if they go off it at that final chicane, their next lap time will be invalid.
Ocon up to sixth. Ricardo now displays his Ocon in sixth place at the moment.
He does, but Gas is in third, Charlie. Hamilton only fifth on the medium tyre. Right, here comes Mr. Saturday again.
Russell up to 11th.
Up to 11th, Charlie. He's going to have to go again, isn't he?
Yeah, Russell will have to go again. I don't know what the cut-off time would be, though. That's the question. What would the cut-off be?
Right, so in the bottom five at the moment is Raikkonen, Stroll, Schumacher, Latifi. Right, let's have a look at this incident again. And it is, Charlie, is the Hassan Nikita Mazepin that stamps on his brakes going into the chicane, and that causes everyone else to go wide. But then he comes back on, Charlie, right in front of him with Lando Norris.
Yeah, that's a no-no. I think that's going to be a penalty for Mazepin if he gets in trouble with that.
Well, unsurprisingly, Charlie, it has been noted by the stewards.
Yeah, is Yuki Tsunoda's team radio?
Okay. Little bit instability in exit at turn 5. Instability, tiny bit.
So, Charlie, I've seen a lot of drivers go off the track. I'm expecting to see that times deleted very soon. The TV radio.
Norris 13th now.
Oh, yes, it has, Charlie. The Williams of Nicholas Latifi's got a broken mirror on the left-hand side.
Interesting. Wow, that's interesting.
You have to pit, surely. You can't continue with...
No, he can't. That would be dangerous for everyone else. You won't be able to see where he's going.
So apparently George Russell's aborted lap was planned, Charlie. That's what we're hearing. And he wanted to do a cycle lap on some soft tyres to see how the track was behaving. Could that go in Russell's favour, having that extra lap?
Maybe. Be interesting.
They're quite, just looking, Charlie, they're actually quite small garages at Barcelona, aren't they?
Yeah.
F1 garages, they're quite small.
Yeah, it's interesting how small the garages are going to be.
So George Russell set his second lap, Charlie, on an old set of soft tyres. So if he's done that, that's a pretty good lap on an old set of soft tyres by George Russell.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see 5 minutes to go now of Q1. Which drivers will run again and which drivers won't run again. This is the interesting one.
So Hamilton, Charlie, is commonly sixth fastest and 2.5 tenths off the pace. Let's have a look and see how Latifi's mirror got broken. All. Yeah, half of it actually comes out, Charlie, on the exit of turn 9.
Ooh. That's the worst place to have the mirror fall off at a fast corner.
And I think it goes onto the track. I'm not sure. I assume the marshals have picked it up because we haven't got a red flag to the session. So I assume it is that mirror that fell off at turn 9 is all clear. But fortunately, Charlie, another car wasn't following him at that time.
No, that's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
Remember, you can join the conversation. #SpanishGP. We'll pick up some of those replies and tweets in the breaks between the qualifying sessions. We've got 4 minutes to go in this first part of qualifying. Giovinazzi in 15th is the driver at risk with a 1:19.0. Fernando Alonso, Charlie, is half a second. Is safe at the moment.
I think some drivers are going to have to go again. I could see improvements being made, but it's very difficult judging where everyone is.
Right, interestingly, Charlie, it looks like the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton is going again. You'd rather do that and take precaution, but you know they're all coming out and he hasn't race control. Turn 14 incident involving car for Norris and Mazepin will be investigated after the session, Charlie. So Mazepin, Charlie, will be under investigation after the session. He's been summoned to headmaster Michael Massey this afternoon for that incident turn at the chicane.
It seems like Nikita Mazepin has been a naughty boy on this one. I think he will.
And the AlphaTauri of is that Yuki Tsunoda and Charles Leclerc getting very, very close at turn 5 as well, Charlie.
They're all swarming out now with just over 2.5 minutes to go.
Oh, that could be an unsafe release from Williams as well, Charlie, as the Nicholas Latifi was released right in front of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc.
Oh dear, another one. That's an unsafe release will be noted again by the stewards, I'd have thought.
Right, they're going really, they're doing a really, really slow outlap, Charlie. This is obviously trying to keep the temperatures as cool as they can because it's very, very warm this afternoon at Barcelona.
They've got to get on with it though because they've still only got a minute left. Everyone's got to get on with getting around.
They've got a minute and 45 seconds to go as they head into the chicane, so they've got plenty of time. Raikkonen now just going through the chicane. He plants the throttle through turn 15 and they're off on their way over the line now. And they're plunging towards turn 1. Let's see. Speed trap for Kimi Raikkonen is 201 miles an hour, Charlie, at the breaking point. Turn
over
1.
200, wow. Just over, wow. 201 miles per hour.
Raikkonen flying through turn 3. And Raikkonen, Charlie's done a purple first sector.
Wow.
Has the Iceman. Has gone fastest in the
an Alfa Romeo, wow.
He was 2 tenths quicker than Nicholas Latifi in the first sector alone. Let's see his speed through turn 9, 247.3 kilometers an hour, Charlie. Did Kimi Raikkonen carry through the flat out turn 9. Right, Lance Stroll, he's lost time, Charlie. He's 91 thousandths of a second clear of the cut-off time at the moment. It's very tight. It's touch and go for Kimi Raikkonen. Yuki Tsunoda goes 10th.
Tsunoda's drive, but Tsunoda could be at risk unless he gets another lap in.
Charles Leclerc goes 2nd, and Hamilton, Charlie, could be in trouble. He's in 7th, but he has stayed out, stayed in the garage. Raikkonen goes 15th. Latifi is out, along with Schumacher. But what
Stroll up
Lance
7th.
do?
Checkered flag, checkered flag.
It is, Charlie. Stroll goes 7th. That pushes Hamilton down to 8th.
Alonso up to 11.
That pushes Vettel into the drop zone. Lando Norris now driver at risk. What can Sebastian Vettel do? Vettel towards the line goes 12th fastest.
Only 12th, but Vettel
Norris
is
in the drop zone. Can Norris be
Norris
out?
has gone fastest.
Q1. Goes fastest, Charlie. Cam Russell gets out of Q1. He's coming through the chicane now, through turn 15. Is it Mr. Saturday again? Yes, it is. As he goes 14 fastest.
Very, very close, though.
Russell into Q2. Mr. Saturday, Charlie, does it
1/10
again.
of a second is all it was. Wow, very close between George Russell and Yuki Tsunoda, who is out of qualifying for AlphaTauri. Yeah. Wow.
By 7 milliseconds, Charlie. Yuki Tsunoda is out.
Oh, that's a poor result for him. I was expecting him to be in the top, nearer the top 10, but what a huge shame. And Hamilton 9th in the end as well.
And Kimi Raikkonen is also out, Charlie, in 17th.
Yeah, shame. But Antonio Giovinazzi scrapes through by at least 100th of a second.
Indeed, you're right, Charlie. So we've now got the break between the sessions. An eventful Q1. Norris ends it on top from Bottas, from Leclerc, from Verstappen, from Gasly, from Perez, from Sainz, from Stroll, from Hamilton, from Ricciardo, from Ocon, Alonso, Vettel, Russell, Giovinazzi. In the elimination zone, it was Tsunoda, Raikkonen, Schumacher, Latifi, and Mazepin all out.
I'll repeat that again. I'll repeat the drivers that are out for you, Jack. That was Tsunoda in the Alpha Tauri, Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo, Mick Schumacher in the Haas, Nicholas Latifi in the Williams, and Nikita Mazepin in the Haas, but he's under investigation by the stewards.
He is Charlie, but I believe he's starting pretty much plumb last anyway. So if anything happens to him, he's not going to move that much further, is he?
No, Mazepin will be massively at the back.
Yes, right. I'm going to try and read out some of your reaction to that first part of qualifying. Let's see what everyone is saying. Remember to tag us hashtag Spanish GP. Someone's saying I only see Mazepin blocking everybody at that incident at the chicane. And so, someone's saying Mazepin ruining yet another driver's flying lap. Explained 8 cars, and there's 8 cars, Charlie, involved in that chicane incident. 8 cars involved. That's 8 cars under investigation for holding up another driver whilst he was on his flying lap.
Wow.
And
well, Lando Norris probably won't get in trouble because he was the one that got blocked by Nikita Mazepin.
He is saying he's under investigation, Charlie, but yes, you're right. He's the one that's blocked. I think he's been called to the stewards to give his perspective of what could have nearly been a big accident.
Yeah.
Someone said, surely if you made everyone use the old circuit for their outlaps, then that avoids this issue and it's completely fair. That's actually, Charlie, a very good point. Michael D saying that. That's actually a very good point.
Yeah.
If you make cars use the old circuit for the outlaps, then they don't get involved in that chicane. That's a very good point there from whoever made the tweet.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how that gets on.
Everyone's out of the way, aren't they? Everyone's not holding up anyone in the chicane.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, Charlie, we're just looking why AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda went into the gravel. That's why he didn't make it through Tsunoda radio. And once again, the beep machine in that AlphaTauri is very much needed. We can't repeat Tsunoda's radio, unfortunately. But let's get back to the comments. It's about time the rules were changed. If you're on track, it's a full race speed unless flags right. Charlie, that could be another reason. If you're on the track, even on your outlap, you have to go a minimum speed. You have to be above a minimum speed.
Yeah.
Someone said, no, you can't blame blocking Lando. He shouldn't have been there because he's too slow to reach P19 anyway.
Yeah, one of them, Mazepin's in trouble, and I'm sure the P19 driver will be in trouble as well. And that, I believe, is Latifi.
Someone said, how did you ever think this driver lineup would lead them to success? I guess that's talking about Haas. What is Mazepin doing? Someone said, didn't they put the quote, Mazepin will never change, which was made by Charles Leclerc yesterday as he came back on the track in front of him. Good drivers and Mazepin. Without this horrible last chicane, Barcelona would actually be a decent track. Do you know what, Charlie? I actually agree with that tweet as well. If we take it would be more dangerous, wouldn't it, if we took that last chicane away? But it would make the track a lot better and overtaking a lot more eventful and easier.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm not sure how you do that though. That's the problem. Here's Nicholas Latifi's radio.
That's all there is. It's ridiculous.
Latifi's not happy with Mazepin by the sounds of it on that radio.
No, I don't think so. Yuki Fan
This
Club
is ridiculous.
said 8 cars with within like 50 meters. What's going on? Mazepin not moving either. Everyone, Charlie, seems to be agreeing that this once again is Mazepin's fault.
Yeah, I've just literally just tweeted as well. I've just tweeted about the incident. Utter madness is what I've just put on there.
It is, Charlie. It is utter madness. Nothing but utter madness. And just, yeah, I've just seen your tweet, Charlie, as well. It's just come up there. I don't know whether you can see it. Yeah, it's just come up.
Utter madness.
Yeah, but utter madness down at turn 13 and 14 and 15 during the qualifying session for the Spanish GP. But we are go for Q2, shall we just say. We've got a green flag at the end and green light at the end of the pit lane. No one going out, Charlie. I have a feeling it's going to be Monza all over again, where they stay in and that as soon as one goes out, they all go out. They never learn, do they?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, I think, certainly.
It's almost a minute in, and there's not even any tyres on the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc yet, Charlie.
Russell said the wind has picked up. The car is harder to drive. Just as well, some news that's coming there.
So, Charlie, the Mercedes are coming out on the soft tyre.
Really?
Bottas
Bottas done a great lap on the medium as well.
Both Mercedes out on the softs, Charlie.
Interesting. Do they predict the mediums aren't going to be the best tyre? Wow, that could be interesting.
Well, I think, Charlie, it's incredibly close. Oh, and the Red Bulls are also coming out on the soft tyre. So I don't think, Charlie, they want to take the risk. It's super tight. If you go in the mediums, you might not make it through. And that's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a risk. Is it a risk worth taking? That's the question.
And the Red Bull Max Verstappen is also on the softs.
Wow. Interesting.
So hearing the explanation is that we predict that you won't go through from Pirelli on a set of mediums to Q3. So that's why they're all opting for this red striped soft compound tyre. And everyone is going out on the soft so far. There's no one out on the mediums as yet. And pretty much everyone is now making their way out onto the circuit. Could impact drivers like George Russell, Charlie, who normally sometimes benefit from those going out on the mediums.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how they all get on. I think all are out. Antonio Giovinazzi looks like he's gone out on mediums, according to my timing.
So, Charlie, if we start on the softs, we're potentially looking at a 2-stop race tomorrow, aren't we?
Maybe a 2-stop, potentially.
Right, here we go then. Hamilton leading them away through turn 15. Got a nice gap to his teammate Valtteri Bottas as he comes plunging down the hill towards turn 1, Johnny. Speed trap, 191 miles an hour was the Mercedes. So it wasn't getting that push down the straight that he wanted by the wind. Lewis Hamilton flings it round turn 3. And going into turn 4. Let's see what Bottas does, though. Does Bottas go quicker than Hamilton? Yes, he does. In the first sector, Bottas quicker. Right, this is the point, Charlie, where you're hanging on to your tyres for dear life as you go into the final parts of the lap. Towards turn 9 he goes. Through turn 9 now does Lewis Hamilton. And he's going to head, got DRS wide open towards turn 10. Keeps it well out of the gravel there, Charlie. He just about dips the wheel onto the AstroTurf, but Bottas is absolutely flying on the softs tyre, Charlie. A double purple sector so far. Hamilton going through turn 13 and 14 now. Through turn 15. Hamilton over the line. What's the benchmark time?
17.6.
a 1:17.6, but Valtteri Bottas.
Bottas has gone faster. Wow, 2/10 to the
He
second.
has, Charlie. Verstappen, I believe, has gone faster than Bottas in the first sector.
Keep an eye on that. We're going to keep an eye on that Red Bull now. Let's see whether he can improve.
2/10 down, Charlie, on his teammate Valtteri Bottas. He's not getting those soft tyres into
Perez
here.
third.
Yeah, you're right, Charlie. As
Gasly's gone quicker than Perez. Wow, that's interesting on the soft tyre.
I think Charlie Hamilton's possibly preserving these tyres because these will be race tyres. Remember?
Yeah. Stroll's up to third.
But Verstappen, Charlie, is also flying. Let's see as Norris comes towards the line now.
Goes third.
Third fastest.
Verstappen's gone quickest. Wow, what a lap from Verstappen.
It's a 1:16.9, Charlie.
Wow. How has Verstappen gone 4/10 quicker than Valtteri Bottas? Wow. What a lap from Verstappen there. That is a very strong time. And into the 1:16s as well.
You're right, Charlie. Half a second separates the Red Bull and the Mercedes, but we don't know whether Mercedes were preserving their tyres because remember, these softs will be their race tyres tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a few drivers that haven't run yet still. Antonio Giovinazzi's nowhere on the mediums, so he'll probably have to go again. Unless it's
Science Radio, it feels windier now. Ocon and Alonso have just come over the line to start their laps.
Sainz is also starting his lap as well.
Yeah, and Leclerc and Ricardo is still in their out laps, but they are coming towards the line to start their laps very soon. So that win, Charlie, that was a tailwind going into turn one has now become a headwind going into turn one now. So the wind has switched direction. It's done a switcheroo, has the wind at Barcelona this afternoon.
Yeah.
So
Going to be interesting.
Only failed to not make Q3 once at the Spanish Grand Prix. Can he do it again? He's going through turn 9. He's heading towards turn 10. He's getting a nice slipstream from his teammate as well, Esteban Ocon. He's currently making his way through turn 11 and on to turn 12. And then he's heading towards the chicane at turn 13 and 14. The criticised chicane at turn 13 and 14. Through turn 15, Ocon towards the line. 7th fastest for the Alpine.
Alonso's up to 5th.
To Q3. Yes, he can. 5th fastest for Alonso, Charlie.
Sainz has just displaced him up there now. Wow.
He has, Charlie.
Leclerc 6th. Alpine could be in a bit of trouble.
They could, Charlie.
And Ricardo only 10th fastest, so Ricardo may have to go again. And he will have to go again, actually, because he's only 10th.
There's still 7 minutes remaining in the session.
God, it's tight.
So in the driver at risk at the moment is Daniel Ricciardo. In the elimination zone at the moment, we have Ocon, Perez, Vettel, Giovinazzi, and Russell, who hasn't set a time yet. And it's remaining in his Williams garage. I wonder if Charlie wants to start P15 and not ruin his race tyres.
I'm not sure what George Russell wants to do. I hope he gets out there and gets a lap in. I'd love to see Russell out there, but not sure what he wants to do.
Charlie, I'd love to see George Russell out there very much as well. Ocon radio. Ocon complaining, Charlie, there's massive understeer in his Alpine F1 car.
Yeah, and Ocon at the moment sits 11th fastest. So he's going to have to go again.
He certainly is.
Verstappen should be safe, without a doubt.
Sergio Perez, Charlie, is only 12th.
Oh dear. Perez is going to have to go again as well. Where is he? Where's his pace gone?
He certainly is going to have to go again, Charlie. Vettel is 13. We've got 5.5 minutes to go. We're now at that break, Charlie, where we have no action on track, although George Russell has left the pit lane and is venturing around turn 10 at the moment. He's gone out in the gap, Charlie, to try and get some clean air, hasn't he? The medium speed corners so far, the Red Bull is 9.2 out of 10 rated according to AWS. So the Red Bull looking really nice and quick through the middle corners this afternoon. 5 minutes to go then as George Russell heads through turn 15 and is going. He's only going to get time for one lap, I think. He's not going to have time to go to do that, get round and fuel up and go out again. So it's this lap or not. It's now or never for George Russell. Not unless he's doing one of his sighting laps again. But round turn 3 he goes. Over the line. It's 3 tenths down on Verstappen's time so far through turn 1. Through sector 1, sorry. And towards turn 5 now. Keeps it nice and neat as he goes on the exit of turn 5 towards turn 6 and the little chicane of turn 7 and 8. Keeps it pointing the right direction. Doesn't get any understeer or oversteer towards turn 9. Keeps it. They're taking away the. No, they haven't taken away the. They've taken away the first part of that gravel trap at turn 9 and replaced it with some asphalt. Through the all new turn 10 he goes. On to turn 11. He's done 2 personal best sectors, Charlie, as he makes his way towards turn 12 and the chicane at turn 13 and 14. All nice and neat so far for George Russell through turn 15. Is it enough to get into Q3? No. He's
14, only 14.
And as they're all coming out again, Charlie, he's not going to have enough time, is he? Not unless he's going to do a double run here on his soft tyres. Right, so the 2 Mercedes are coming out again.
They obviously think they've got more in the tank.
Well, from 1st to 7th, Charlie, it's all separated by under a second.
Yeah.
So still very much a risk, isn't it? And they're going out on used tyres as well. And they're going out on old softs, not new softs today. So at Mercedes, they switch it which driver leads. It's Lewis Hamilton's turn this time to tow Valtteri Bottas. They all seem to be coming out, Charlie, on an old set of soft tyres, not a brand new set.
Yeah.
So, if you're interested in BTCC, the cars are on track for qualifying in that as well. Right. Charlie, I'm slightly concerned. Daniel Ricciardo's only hitting round turn 6. He needs to pick up the pace a bit, doesn't he? As to whether he's going. It's 1 minute 45. He should be all right, but there's an Aston Martin going very slow at turn 15 and trying to back everyone up. I hope that they all get a chance to put their lap in. Verstappen feeling very confident, Charlie, and staying in his garage.
Yeah, I think Verstappen's going to be safe.
But the 2 Mercedes have come out. Right, Leclerc and Sainz, Charlie, are both down on their first sectors, but they're on used set of softs. I don't think Leclerc will catch. We might catch the Mercedes. They're all going really, really slow. They might get away with it, Charles Leclerc, because they're all going really slow through that chicane. And Hamilton pulls nicely out. Valtteri Bottas, pulls nicely out of the way. and gets out of Charles Leclerc's way. But Leclerc towards the line, what can he do? Only goes 5th fastest. What can Sainz do?
Fourth.
Sainz goes 4th fastest. You're right, Charlie. Gasly towards the line in 9th fastest. Stays 9th fastest as Pierre Gasly.
Gasly's
Vettel
in trouble.
is out.
Daniel Ricciardo's at driver at risk status.
Towards the line, stays 8th fastest.
Ricciardo's gone down to 11th. Can he get a lap in?
He has. Ocon goes 7th, Charlie. Perez, what can Perez do? Perez goes 5th fastest and pushes Gasly out of qualifying.
Gasly's out. Both AlphaTauri's not in Q3.
Coming through turn 13 and 14 now. On to turn 15. Ricciardo
goes 8th.
Now is in Q3 and both Aston Martins are out of qualifying. Both McLarens are in Q3. Giovinazzi, what can Giovinazzi do?
Hamilton's gone to 2nd, but still not massively improved.
Giovinazzi towards the line now, only 14th fastest, and Fernando Alonso is in Q3.
Alonso's through.
As Bottas goes 2nd, Charlie.
Yeah, Alonso's in by, check the maths there, 100th of a second. By the skin of his teeth.
Interestingly, Charlie, both Mercedes improved their lap times on a new set of soft tyres, meaning they have to start the race on those soft tyres. I'm slightly puzzled as to why Mercedes did that.
Not sure why. That's interesting.
That's slightly an odd decision for Mercedes as we head towards Q3, which is coming up in about 5-10 minutes time. Do you know what? It's been quite an interesting qualifying session so far. Charlie's just going to go for a quick break whilst we read you out some of the remember, if you want to get involved, tweet us #SpanishGP. We're going to get round to getting some of those tweets in a few moments time. Right. Someone put, no, my 7-year-old son has been crying all morning. He asked, are they really going to get away with that fraud for F1? I held back tears and I said, yes, son. This is some of those tweets are really just a waste of time. Maybe you need to actually watch something. My nan on a bike could beat Mazepin in an F1 car. That's tweet of the day. That is by Goatee. My nan on a bike could beat an F1 car. That is tweet of the day. That is brilliant. Tweet of the day. That is definitely. Anyone has a clear picture of Leclerc's painting? Car 44. Let's do this. Bottas sets the early Q2 pace. Verstappen the best in my book. And people always say Red Bull is the best car, while Paris is struggling to get into Q3, while both Mercedes are comfortable in P2 and P3. Perez 1.1 off, and they say Bottas does a bad job. It's a good point. We're going to hear from Yuki Tsunoda now, though.
Well, I'm not pushing too hard in the outclock, just like your normal. And the tire temperature is quite spot on before the lap. So yeah, I hope, yeah, I just feel from my side that my car is really slow compared to my car, especially outlet. So yeah, I don't know why they're slow, but I think most of the car is slower than me. So, but I think my team we set up the tire, but way faster. But I don't know. It's not. Yeah, it's basically it's not the place I don't want to fight. You know, like the performance in this car. It's easy to go to Q2, but I really struggle to even go to Q2. So yeah.
So what do you think's going on?
Sorry.
What do you think's going on?
I don't know. Well, like I say, it's always different feedback compared to my teammates. Even every time it's opposite. So I have a little bit question mark. Is like same car or like of course it's same car, but the character of the car is too different. So maybe of course it's just a driving style, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know sure what's happened. Why it's so struggling for like this much.
Thank you.
So Yuki Tsunoda visibly and audibly very, very disappointed with his car in that Q1 session. He didn't make it to Q2. He will start 16th, and as we said, it's very, very hard to overtake around this circuit, the Barcelona, the Catalonia. Everything's just completely shut down, I think. And now it's all coming back. That's good. Charlie, you're back. So it's been very interesting so far. We've just heard from Yuki Tsunoda. Visibly disappointed.
I don't blame him because of what it's just been. He's had a very difficult qualifying today. AlphaTauri both out. I was so much potential for that team to get through, but I just didn't have the pace in the end. I think they'll be a bit disappointed today.
Charlie, I don't know whether you heard, but someone's just put out tweet of the day. My nan could ride a bike quicker than Mazepin's Haas F1 car. That's
Mazepin. Wow. He's not doing great.
Aha, right, Charlie. We've just received some information that Mercedes might be bluffing by saying that Hamilton was on a used set of softs.
Not sure about that one. I'll have to check that.
It would really baffle me if he was on the used set of softs.
No. Wouldn't be surprised either.
Apparently, we're hearing they were scrubbed in tyres, so that pretty much means he's done the cycle lap on them.
Yeah.
So he hasn't done a flying lap on them, but he has done a cycle lap on them. And
yeah,
we've got a green flag for Q3 as well now. So here we go for the final part of qualifying. We are on the way. But Charlie, no one coming out on track for the first 30, 40 seconds. Hopefully we're going to get some... we're just... Yeah. Right, finally, we've got some cars on track, Charlie.
Loads going out now.
Everyone's going out. apart from the Red Bull of Verstappen, the two Mercedes and on the two Mercedes coming out now, Alonso, Charlie, is staying in the pits at the moment. And
Yeah.
the Red Bull of Max Verstappen looks as if he is staying out, as is coming out as well. Right, the two Mercedes have left the garage, and so has the Red Bull of Max Verstappen now. Along the Alpine of Fernando Alonso leads all of those train of cars out of the pit lane. Only 10 minutes to go, Charlie. It's going to be tight. It's going to be a quick refuel, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they want to get 2-1s in.
It's going to be very, very interesting, I think, to see how they get on.
Right, so we're hearing Alonso and both the Ferraris and Norris could possibly be on used tyres, but both Mercedes tyres are brand spanking new. So that the Mercedes tyres, Charlie, they've been bought from the Pirelli store, and it's like, you know, when you get the excitement, you just bought a toy from the toy shop, or you bought a new video game from the game store. That is what it's like. Norris Radio. Yeah, Norris saying Norris being warned he's the lead car, could be a bit of traffic towards the final sector. Right, here we go then. Norris through turn 2 and on to turn 3 he goes. No yellow flags so far in this qualifying. Touch wood, hopefully we won't get any more. 21-8, Fernando Norris in the first sector. But they're all coming over the line now, but there's a gap. Alonso's rather backing up the two Mercedes and the Red Bull Max Verstappen, who has overtaken the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. That maybe he wants the slipstream as Norris goes through turn 9 and DRS wide open as he goes towards the newly constructed turn 10 for the first time in this Q3 session. Keeps it very good, Charlie. On the exit of turn 10, lovely lap so far from Mr. Lando Norris. 2 personal best sectors, and he has avoided the traffic as Hamilton is making his way round turn 3 and towards turn 4 now. Norris towards the line. Here's the benchmark time. On 118.
Car number 4 goes 118. Charles Leclerc goes quicker though.
He does, Charlie, and Sainz making his way towards the line now. Sainz goes fastest. But here, now, Charlie, we've got the big guns.
Ricardo goes second.
Ricardo goes second. And then we're on to the Verstappens, the Hamiltons. Oh, Charlie, who is that? It's a Red Bull. Sergio Perez has gone for a spin. And he's managed to get it going again. But will that affect anyone's laps? The Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton has gone quickest in sector 2 through turn 13 and 14. It's mighty close, Charlie, between Hamilton and Verstappen. Hamilton towards the line.
Fastest.
It's a 1:16.7.
Verstappen second, 300 slower.
Second by 3600.
Goes third. Bottas now third now.
Bottas only third. Hamilton is on for provisional pole in Spain this afternoon. And Charlie has given him a very good shot of taking his 100th in Formula 1.
It's going to be interesting. Can Hamilton get his 100th pole? We'll just find out in about just over 5 minutes' time whether that will come true or not.
So, Perez went for a spin at turn 13, Charlie. Let's see how he's done it. He goes...
Spin, Red Bull just put
into turn 13. Oh! He's got it. He's just skimmed the gravel, Charlie, and he's braked as he's just dipped the wheel in the gravel, and that's spun him right round. He's gone mad the old track, Charlie.
Luckily.
Those soft tyres, Charlie, they need a black sack. They're going straight in the bin. when they get back to the pits.
It doesn't. They don't look great.
So far, it's Hamilton from Verstappen, from Bottas, from Ocon, from Sainz, from Ricardo.
Ocon, the big winner out of all that, actually.
Alonso, Perez. What did you say, Charlie?
Ocon is the big winner out of all that. Full fastest.
He is, Charlie. 36 hundredths of a second separate the top two, Hamilton and Verstappen. This battle, Charlie, for pole position is well and truly on.
And I hope to see Lando come back. Hopefully. I know what that McLaren's got in the tank.
We'll explain. Tomorrow's race day is a pilot event by the Spanish government.
Really?
1,000 members of the Circuit de Barcelona Catalonia will fill some of the seats in the grandstands. We're racing, Charlie, in front of a crowd of around 1,000 people tomorrow.
Really? I thought it was behind closed doors, unless they've changed the guidance up for it. Wow.
It is being classed as a pilot event, Charlie. Some of the tickets will be handed to key workers at Spain, including the police force, the medical paramedics, and the fire engines as well. The other half of it will go to members of the circuit and circuit members. That will include like maybe like the chairman of the circuit, the business owners of the circuit. They will be the people who will be attending tomorrow, along with the key workers at Spain. To Sainz, Charlie, the big loser was really Lando Norris in that first part of the Q3 race. Really.
Huge shame. I think Lando's got a lot of potential to really get up there. I just hope he comes back with more vengeance.
So, Charlie, what we're hearing is on Hamilton's flying lap, he had to lift off at the final sector for some yellow flags.
Yeah.
So it's not the true pace, and he's still quickest.
Mm.
Do you know what? If you're Lewis Hamilton now, Charlie, you're praying that someone spins off and causes a red flag in this final part of qualifying, because if there's a red flag now, the session won't restart. Still got 2 minutes 53 seconds to go. I think everyone will be coming out on a shiny new set of soft tyres. Who will it be on pole, Charlie Tolhurst?
I'll go with my original prediction, but I think Hamilton may clinch it. I'm not sure.
Right, both Mercedes heading out, followed by the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, and they're all coming out now, Charlie. So Hamilton is the leader of the pack so far. Well, actually, no, I think the McLaren of Lando Norris is actually the leader of the pack, sorry. The Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, Charlie, is really backing them up at the pit lane exit. Behind him, he has the Red Bulls of Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. So Hamilton and Norris are the drivers that lead in the pack, from Valtteri Bottas, from both Ferraris, the Alpines, as Verstappen's trying to get past the Alpine as well. It's all go on the outlaps, Charlie. The car's coming through turn 3, Charlie, right now. They're going to have to get on with it. There's only 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the car.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They need to get round. They've come out really late, I think, as well, which isn't going to help them.
The two Mercedes, I think, will be all right. The Red Bull Max Verstappen is trying to make his way through the field, Charlie. He is thinking, if I can't get past these cars, it's going to be touch and go whether I make it to the checkered flag. There's a minute to go as they're heading into turn 10.
We should hopefully get there.
They should get there. Verstappen wants the slipstream. So Hamilton's really going to back them. Bottas is really going to back him up now, Charlie. He's going to back them all up and give Hamilton a bit of a gap. Right, here we go then. Hamilton through turn 15, plants the throttle to the floor. DRS wide open for the Mercedes as he heads over the line towards the first corner now. Can Hamilton take pole number 100? This is the lap he's going to have to be. Through turn 3 he goes. What's that first sector time going to be? Over the sector line now. Or he's a 10,000th of a second up, Charlie, on the time that Lewis Hamilton needs to get Bottas is down. What can Verstappen do? Verstappen through the first sector is down as well. Hamilton up at the moment through turn 7 and on to turn 8 he goes. Down the quick straight through turn 9. Keeps it out of the gravel. That's crucial. Brilliant so far from Lewis Hamilton. Towards turn 2, but Hamilton's 2 tenths down, Charlie, in the second sector. Hamilton not improving so far. What can Valtteri Bottas is also down. Verstappen is down as well. Advantage Hamilton so far going into sector 3. Through onto the chicane. Turn 60. Oh, he almost loses it, Charlie. On the exit of the chicane towards the line. Hamilton doesn't improve, but stays. But can Bottas still pole position away this afternoon? No, he can't. Verstappen towards the line. It's pole number 100 for Lewis Hamilton.
No, Verstappen's gone second.
Only second fastest. Hamilton is on
Perez
pole
up
for
to
the
7th.
100th time in Formula 1. Perez goes 7th fastest. But
Leclerc's
it's
gone to
pole
4th.
number
Good lap from him.
100 for Lewis Hamilton in Formula 1.
Just getting up rest of the times here. Leclerc 4th for Ferrari. Any more improvers? Where's Lando?
100 pole positions. Yes, that's right. 100 pole positions.
Lando's only 9th. Wow. Lando Norris only 9th for McLaren. That's a shocker for him. So it seems like everyone's finished their laps. Wow. Sainz 6th. And Esteban Ocon P5. Great result for the Alpine. What a qualifying from Esteban Ocon to finish 5th. And Fernando Alonso 10th. And Perez only 8th. When Verstappen is 2nd. But
Charlie,
100 points
where Hamilton matched Senna's 65 pole positions. It was that year later in Monza that he broke the record, 69 pole positions. He has now become the first ever driver to achieve 100 pole positions in any form of motorsport.
Hamilton on pole for tomorrow's Spanish Grand Prix by the merest of margins. Verstappen improves, but not enough.
Charlie, as Hamilton climbs out of his car for the 100th time, he will start the race tomorrow on pole position.
It's going to be great. I'll be tuning into the race tomorrow and I'll be watching what has been happening. Obviously, Formula Reaction as well. That is happening today in Monte Carlo. We'll keep you updated on that news as well.
Charlie, the focus on Lewis Hamilton as he gets a handshake from Max Verstappen and congratulations. He needs to take a break, Charlie. We need to take a break. 100 pole positions. Charlie, did you ever think that could be achievable in Formula 1?
No, never in doubt. And Lewis Hamilton has smashed all kinds of records today.
It's another record, another milestone as he strolls over towards the number 1 sign. He's going to go and head over, and his trainer Angela Cullen, Charlie, is absolutely delighted, and so she should be.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Thanking all of the team. 100 pole positions is something quite incredible that no one has ever seen before. We're witnessing history today, Charlie.
Yeah, we sure are.
Ocon starts P5. Well, that was a great standout. Best of the best for
Yeah.
Ocon.
Esteban Ocon, great. Leclerc, fourth for Ferrari. Good qualifying from him. I was really respectable qualifying for Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Daniel Ricciardo ahead of his teammate Lando Norris. Wow. I mean, I've said before, Norris only ninth fastest. He's going to be a bit disappointed. Daniel Ricciardo will be a little bit happy of the two McLarens.
So, BBC Sports saying Lewis Hamilton, no one could improve on the second lineup, so Hamilton wins it with his first run. It's his 100th pole in Formula One. Charlie, those words will be ringing around the circuit, the F1 community. 100 poles, 100 F1 poles. It's just unbelievable, Charlie, that you could think that would happen.
Yeah.
Right, let's hear the drivers' interviews now.
How was it all that?
Yeah, it was good. Started a little bit in Q1, but I think then we sorted out the balance for Q2, which was pretty good. And then Q3 for me, to be honest, both laps were pretty decent. I think only the second run was a little bit worse for whatever reason. It's quite gusty out here, so the wind changes a lot. But nevertheless, I think second for us, even the track was very good today. I mean, we know that they are hard to beat around here, but to be that close, I can be happy with that.
And for tomorrow, we're starting second. I mean, you've done it from further back, so that's possible here. It's nearly 600 meters to turn one.
Yeah, it's a long run to turn one, but of course, first you have to make sure to have a good start. And it seems like the pace is there, so of course I hope that we can have a good race as well.
Tire management will be key tomorrow, you think?
Yeah, right here, with all the fast corners and tires overheating, tire management is very important. So we have to make sure that we are on top of that tomorrow.
Did you have to manage the tire temperature during quali as well?
As you can see, our outlets were so slow, just to make sure that in the last sector, of course, the tires survive. Everyone is basically doing more or less the same thing. But it's nice, around here. It's a proper track, a lot of fast corners, and especially in qualifying, with low fuel, it's amazing to drive.
Well, thank you very much, Mike.
So, Charlie, here with Max Verstappen, we've got Lewis Hamilton coming up next. This is going to be a special interview.
You're not aging too bad, huh? You're not aging too bad. We're both getting older. I would not lie. That's great.
Okay, then. Well, anyway, I'm so happy to be interviewing you here on your 100th pole, Luis. This is a magic number, a magic moment. So, how was your lap? I mean, it was perfect. Mr. Perfect.
Well, P3 was looking really good. I think it's been a strong weekend, and I made some changes. I had a bit of anxiety about the changes that were potentially going to make for qualifying, and you always try to make the car better, but it's a bit of a gamble because you've also got to keep the race in mind also. And anyways, we made this change, and as soon as I got out, I was like, this is immediately the wrong one. And it's, it was my call at the end, but it was really hard, so that's why I was behind the whole way through qualifying. And I was making small tweaks here and there to try and elevate pace-wise, but the first lap was the best lap that I got through the whole session, which was great. Tried to improve the next lap. I think I was a 10.5 up, but then I couldn't keep it. But oh wow, I can't believe that we're at 100, and I really it's down to the men and women that are back at the factory who are continuously raising the bar and just never giving up. The support that I have. It's been a dream for me to work with these guys, and the journey that we've been on has been immense. I mean, who would have thought in 2013 or in 2012 when we made the decision to partner, we would be qualifying at 100. So I feel very humble, very grateful, and I'm ecstatic. Like it's my first.
But tell us about the lap, because in Q2 you couldn't break the 16s, you were in mid-17s, and then suddenly bang, the first lap in Q3 was like, where that lap come from?
Yeah. So, as I said, the setup that I made, I just had so much understeer. So the car was very lazy, wouldn't turn around the corners like the way I want. So you're waiting and waiting and waiting. So I was making small adjustments to try and, within what we were able to change, in order to get the car to turn. And that's a combination of many things. And then it's just pulling every millisecond together. And it was my cleanest lap, as I said. I will always remember that one now.
I remember when we started testing, the first day you ever tested a Formula One car in Silverstone together with me, you remember?
Yeah.
I knew you were going to be good, but I never thought you were going to get 100 poles. Congratulations.
I remember when you tried to kill me one time.
Only one? Many times, many times. You're still here, 100 pole position. I'm so proud of you, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So good to see you.
Fantastic interview there. We're just going to hear from Valtteri Bottas very quickly.
I got it really well. Anyway, congratulations. Third position here on the clean side. Everything can happen tomorrow, man.
Yeah, that was close. I mean, yeah, definitely was in for the battle of the pole, and I think the first runs in Q3 were faster runs. Just a bit context because in turn 10 I had snapped at the apex of turn 10, lost the 10 also, so you know that's the package for the pole. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, very strong package. It's going to be a good fight tomorrow, no doubt.
How was the tire degradation during your the long run on Friday? Can you fight for the win tomorrow?
I think it's going to be very close between us and Red Bull. And here, yeah, if you can keep the tires in good condition, you're going to be more competitive on the pit stop. So I think there's even possibilities for some people doing one stop, some two stops. So I'm not going to reveal to you ours, but
one is a possibility. Why not? Anyway, congratulations, man. Everything
Thanks.
played tomorrow.
Charlie, a fascinating interview there from Lewis Hamilton. 100 poles is something quite special, isn't it?
Incredible. Hamilton has triumphed the history books today, and I think it's going to be one of those days for Mercedes to remember. 100 poles for Lewis Hamilton, a century for Formula One, and it's never been done before in the sport's history.
Right, we will find out tomorrow if Lewis Hamilton can convert his 100th pole into a 98th race victory. We've got a couple of comments. A lot of people saying he is the 100th pole champion. Yes, he is. We will find out tomorrow at 1:35 whether Hamilton can convert that 100th pole into his 98th race win. We'll see you then when Formula One returns.